the time.
Yeah.
Hey, cool cats and kittens. We got another video here today with Laura.
Hello. This is Laura Venerstructa. And welcome to our Monday, what are we doing? Zero Energy Homes talk. And so we took a break for the holiday last week. And before that, we were talking about blower door testing. So today I just wanted to kind of talk about some of the air sealing details that you need to have a good blower door number. Specifically, I'll show you some examples on our house. I wonder what would be better light. I'm going to end up squinting. Anyway, I'm upstairs on our top floor right now. So some things to consider are all of your exterior walls, floor, ceiling. I've talked about this stuff in other videos, but anytime you have anything poking into your exterior walls, like wiring or ductwork or plumbing, any of those things that ever go into the outside structure of your home is a potential for air leak and moisture flow. And so we really want to first just minimize those opportunities. So if you can, just think about putting all of your plumbing and electrical and mechanical ductwork in the interior walls and joist cavities. Maybe build in some soffitted areas. I've actually seen some builders where, like here, let's see a good example. So this is the rafter. So instead of just putting drywall here and then finishing the room off this way, you can actually like what you call fur down. So like put some, another like framing material here, and then you can have a space that holds off your drywall. And so, well, actually you would put some kind of rigid barrier here first and then build your airspace, because that would be your part of your air barrier layer. And then you'd have another, just like a cavity here to help provide a space for your wiring, lighting, and that kind of thing. So if you have, like up here, we have a vaulted ceiling, you can have this cavity inside of your thermal boundary. So again, the thermal boundaries around the whole outside of your home, and you want to make sure that it is airtight. So minimizing any penetrations is what's really important. So another thing we can do here, I'm just going to flip the camera. So our plan, we're going to have a vaulted ceiling. So we'll have insulation between the rafters, and then on the outside of the sheathing, once it gets up there, we have these collar ties since we did site-built trusses. So we could, up in that triangle space up there, if we chose to put drywall underneath the collar ties, we'd have this little triangle space up there that we could run some electrical or ductwork for our HRV system. But the idea is that, at least for now, and on this side of the house, we are going to leave that open. So we'll have exposed collar ties, which we may paint or stain or trim around depending on what we decide to do. So it kind of leaves it more open and airy instead of sort of your traditional attic space where you have a flat ceiling there, and then you have a slope, and then you have your knee wall on the side. So really liking the idea to keep it open. So just kind of thinking about in your design where you can have spaces in the home where you can run all of your sort of mechanical runs that are normally inside of your floor or wall cavities. Try to just keep those all to the inside cavity so that you can get your full amount of insulation in your walls and your floor and your attic space, and then not have to compromise potential air leaks through wires poking through. So, I was going to show this other detail. So what some of those air sealing strategies look like. Go back. So here we have our rafters, and they are on a sill plate because we have concrete walls. So we have this rafter sitting on the sill plate. We've got blocking between the rafters. And then this gray stuff right here is caulk, and it's an elastomeric caulk that will expand and contract some over time, so it should provide a really good seal there. So some caulks don't really do that, and when the wood moves, or especially if you have a wood to non-wood material joint, then that can potentially that seal can potentially break over time, and then you won't have your good air seal. We had a bit of wind the other day. Well, I shouldn't say a bit, a lot of wind, and our whole roof was moving around. So this did a pretty good job. I did a really good job of making sure I have enough here. But I'm noticing there's a spot right here I'll need to go back and seal. So that was kind of a good little test on how thick I got the caulk on. And again, this is something that this level of air sealing detail is not what everyone goes to the lengths to do. So we are going to be doing that. And then once we get our sheathing on top of here, then I'll make sure that gets another seal so that this whole space is sealed. Because otherwise that would be a potential place for air to come in here, here, and here, and then on the top. So we want to make sure we block that off. The other spot is we've got these 2x12 plates, and they don't really want to stay flat. So we've got a little bit of cupping going on. We've got this bolted down. Actually, this is a little bit loose, so it looks like we need to bolt that down a little bit more. So we will tighten those up, and then we've got some sill sealer underneath there. And, where at the points where the bolts are in that line, that should be pretty tight. We added Caulk Inbetween, and I'll show you an example of a couple of different types of caulks we used, but we used that between the plate, the wood plate, and the sill sealer, and then the sill sealer and the concrete. So hoping to get a good seal there, but as you can see, these plates are moving quite a bit, and so I think what we're going to be doing is going in and bringing in some gasket material in here. Yeah, it's kind of cupping significantly over there. So having some gasket material, and probably do that from the outside and seal that off, put the gasket in there, and then run more caulk in there. So it's kind of tricky to do, to get all these details and make sure that they are working in the way you're hoping to, but especially with wood and how much it moves compared to concrete. Anyway, so we've got that detail to really try to make sure we're doing a good job of sealing, and finding a nice, good, expandable caulk is important. So here's a couple of kinds we used. We've got this big stretch caulk that we have, so high performance elastic sealant. And then we also used some of this Dynaflex 230. So both of those are what we've been using, both elastomeric. So again, you just have to make sure whatever caulk you choose works with the materials. The other place we're going to have a fun little interesting detail connection is here, like where we have our patio door. And so we've got this concrete. We're going to have a piece of pressure treated wood here as building the door frame. And we got a pressure treated plate that's touching the concrete at the top. And then we just transition into regular fir. So we're going to have a frame here, and then we're going to be putting on some zip R sheathing on the outside. So we're furring out this wall to the face of the ICF foam. So, and that will provide us a thermal break. So we'll basically there'll be insulation here, and then there'll be wood on the outside. So it's the zip R sheathing. It has the foam and the sheathing all together in one panel. So, and then there's the zip tape that we'll use to cap that joint right there. So that will help our air tightness on the outside. So I might not have, on the gable ends, we won't have to worry about this joint sealing that as much, but it's always good to have belt and suspenders approach where you do, just double your protection in places, so we're not just relying on one material. So I'll probably do some kind of sealant here, and then have the zip tape on the outside. as our other air seal. So anyway, yeah, that's about it for today, I think, for our air sealing. And once we get a little bit further along, I can show you some more of those details. But I think that's it for today. So thanks for joining me, and I will be back next week with another Zero Energy Homes topic. So until then, I will see you. Take care.